Hey y'all, it's Crystal here from ChristaCoDesign. Today we are knitting a super simple garter stitch shawl with a beautiful cashmere yarn in an ombre collection so we can create that gentle color change effect. It's similar to a number 4 or number 3 weight yarn. The label is a 6 ply. So I'm using my 5mm US size 8 knitting needles to go with this yarn. You'll need about 650 yards of 6 ply or number 4 medium worsted weight yarn. The brand I used is Jade Sapphire Exotic Fibers. This mini ombre collection comes with 6 mini skeins that are 25 grams each or about 54 yards each in 6 different shades of blue. I got 2 sets, so we have 12 mini skeins, so we'll be putting them together. So that is around 100-110 yards of each color in 6 colors. I can show you briefly here my almost finished shawl. I started with the darkest blue and I put 2 of the mini skeins together, and you can see how the edge works up so nice there. And then I just went to the mediums and finished with the lighter ones to create that effect. Now with garter stitch, when you change colors, you can see it on the opposite side, like the wrong side, the color change coming through. So you may want to change all on the same side. I didn't really worry about it with the ombre effect. It was all going to be, kind of changing and going as it grows. For this tutorial, I'll start with the light yarn so you can see. Okay, we're going to cast on 1. So I'm just going to start with a slip knot, and that will be my 1 stitch. So I'll slide that onto my needle. This is knit flat, so you can use straight needles. I'm just using my circulars because that's what I have. And then just pull it tight to your needle. Now we're going to put this needle in our left hand. It's our working yarn there and our tail dangling down there. So now we're going to insert our right needle tip into that front leg of that stitch knitwise, wrap the yarn over, pull it through to knit, keep it on the needle, pull it up a little bit loose, and then knit through the back leg there to knit a 2nd stitch. Wrapping the yarn over, pull it up and through, and slide those over to the right hand needle. We now have 2 stitches. Turn and place that needle in our left hand. Then we're going to knit our 1st stitch. Slide that off, and then we're going to knit the 2nd stitch, go into the back loop. There you go. And knit the back loop as well, or KFB, knit front back is your abbreviation. Now we have 3. Turn our work, and for row 3 we are just going to knit across, knit 1 time each of the 3 stitches. Knit 1, slide it off, knit the middle stitch, slide it off, and knit the last stitch, slide it off. So we still have 3 stitches. Turn our work. Now for row 4, knit the first one, slide it off, KFB in the 2nd, so knit the front loop, hold it on there, go into the back loop, and knit the back loop, slide those off, knit the last stitch. Now we have 4 stitches on our needle. Turn our work again. For row 5, we're just going to knit all. There we are, and turn. See our nice little triangle there that we have working up. Now for row 6, we are going to knit our 1st stitch. Then we're going to KFB in the next 2 stitches. So knit the front and back of this stitch, then knit the front and back of this next stitch, and then knit the last stitch. So we'll have 6 stitches. Turn our work, and for row 7, we're just going to knit all. Okay, there now, when we turn our work, you can see here we're going to knit our first stitch and then increase in the second. Knit our middle stitches, increase in the second to last, and knit the last one. So for row 8, knit 1, KFB in the second, knit front back. Then knit your middle stitches, 1, 2. Now it's time to KFB again. We're going to increase in the second to last stitch of the row and then knit the last stitch. So we've made 2 increases. So for this row we will have 8 stitches. I'm going to mark my increase side here because I will always increase on this side of my triangle shawl, and that makes it easier for me. So when I turn for the next row, I'm just going to knit each stitch across. Okay, when I turn, I'm ready to do my repeat. I see that the stitch marker means I'm going to increase, so that means I knit 1, KFB in the second stitch, knit all the stitches across until there are 2 stitches left on my needle. When I have 2 stitches left, I'm going to KFB again to increase, and then knit the last stitch. This will be my increase row that I repeat every time on the front side. Then we'll turn, and on the next row you'll knit all. Keep alternating those 2, increasing on either ends of the front side, knit all on the back side until your shawl grows as long as you need. Here I have my shawl almost finished. I have been knitting and increasing on the right side and growing it out. You can see how nice my edge looks there with the knit 1 and then KFB. And I'm on my last set of colors, my lightest blue here. So I'm going to take a minute to show you how I change colors at the start of a row. You can see here on this color change, I just gently tied the 2 ends together, and then I'll come back at the end and weave them in. Okay, so I don't really have enough to make another row, and instead of changing in the middle of the row here, I'm going to change at the start of the row. So I'm just going to cut my yarn. You want to leave at least 6 inches to weave in there. Make sure you don't lose that stitch. I have my new yarn, and I'm just going to bring that up, and I'm going to knit like I normally would, but use the new yarn and wrap that over the needle and pull that through. Now without letting go, I'm just going to knit a few stitches here to kind of secure the new yarn on. And then I'll stop and tie those together gently and deal with them later. Okay, keep knitting until your shawl is 60 inches long or to your desired length, and then we will bind off together. Here I'm using the Icelandic bind off. Okay, I'm going to start by inserting my right needle tip into the first stitch purlwise under this front leg. And then I'm going to knit the second stitch. So I'm going to go in knitwise into that stitch, yarn over, pull that yarn through, and then I'm going to slide both stitches off. Then I'll slip that stitch back onto the left needle. Keeping it there, I can knit the second stitch again and slide both off. Slip that stitch back on, knit the second stitch. It can be a little bit tricky to get it there through, and then slide both off. Keep repeating across until all the stitches are bound off. Okay, here I am at my last couple of stitches. Just continuing to bind off using the Icelandic bind off here, and then I'll show you how we finish up with the last stitch. Okay, after you bind off on the last stitch here, you can go ahead and pull up a long loop and cut your yarn. There we go. Nice, lovely edge to finish our shawl with, a little bit of stretch, and it looks really good with a garter stitch. Okay, next up we're going to weave in our ends. To weave in the ends for the garter stitch, it's really very simple. We're going to use our yarn needle or tapestry needle, thread the end of your tail, and then you're just going to follow along the path of the knit stitches. So I'm like spreading it out here so I can see. And then we just keep repeating that across several stitches until your tail is all the way in, and trim them. And repeat for each of your tails. On the edge here, it's the same thing. You want to undo your little knot and then just follow along the edge stitch there and work your way in away from the join, following the stitches that you have.